Hi, welcome to episode 6 of my brief look at the basic sounds and techniques on the North Indian tabla. You can go back over the previous 5 issues and look at the different strokes and some of the different combinations that we've covered so far. Now, we're going to be going a little bit deeper today, and we're going to look at a composition, another Kaida composition, which remember is a theme and variation composition. This is a Delhi Kaida. India's tabla styles are pretty much based on different areas. So, for example, you have the Delhi style, you have the Calcutta style, different styles of tabla playing. Actually, they're called gharanas. So it's the Delhi gharana, the Benares gharana, the Lucknow gharana, Calcutta gharana, and so on. So we can look at this Delhi Kaida. Like I say, it's a little bit further on from where we were, but it should easily be within your grasp if you've stayed up with me so far on everything that we've covered and all the sounds that we've looked at, because they're all in this composition. So I'm going to go straight into the composition, and first of all I'll just speak it very slowly, the first half of the theme. Da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te. So the only syllable in there actually that you would not have heard before is ga, which in this instance is the one-fingered ge stroke. So remember that anything beginning with K is the closed sound on the bass tabla. Anything beginning with G, g, ge, god, G-A-D, they're all the open bass strokes on the tabla. So, da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te. Now remember, last time we looked at te and re with the different syllables, but we are still playing te, te, 3, 1. So it's te, te, ke, te, 3-fingered te. Da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te. Second line, da, ti, da, ga, tu, na, ke, na. Da, ti, da, ga, tu, na, ke, na. So both of those lines together, which make up the first half, the Tully portion of the theme. Da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, tu, na, ke, na. And the second half, remember the second half is the Kali, so the first half of the second half will not have any open resonant bass drum strokes in it. So the second half will be ta, ti, ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te. And then the final line, da, ti, da, ga, di, na, ge, na. Remember that din, in this instance, will be ge plus tun. Din, na, ge, na. 3, 1 with the left hand, with the bass drum strokes. So the whole composition, da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, tun, na, ke, na, ta, ti, ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, di, na, ge, na, da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, tu, na, ke, na, ta, ti, ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, di, na, ge, na. daga na ta terikita dati daga dinage. Tati daga na ta terikita dati daga. Tunake na tati taka na ta terikita dati daga dinagena. Remember that dinagena will lead to the tully back to the beginning where there's the bass drum, resonant bass drum present, and tunakena will lead to the cully where the bass drum is taken out, or the resonant strokes on the bass drum are taken out. What would normally happen in this type of rendition in a classical solo setting is that they would play a Kaida like this. I mean, particularly at the beginning of a tabla solo, they might start out, for example, by playing basic time cycle very slowly. They'd move on to a composition called Peshkar, which is a very open, resonant sort of theme and variation composition, basically like di kladina da di na da ti da ti da da tu na taka da da di na da ti da tu na ta tu na taka di na na taka ti taka di na na ki da di na da ti da di na. It's a very open, resonant sort of composition. They might start with that, develop that a little bit, like an invocation or an opening, and then they'd move on back to the time cycle, the regular time cycle that we looked at last time. Then they might move on to some Kaidas, different Kaidas with maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 variations, back to the time cycle, another Kaida, and then move on into the solo in different ways. They would speed up the rhythm, they would start to play fixed compositions, which are almost like little fireworks of rhythmic work. Little things like this that they'll begin to interject into the solo. Then they'll move on to the time cycle again, then back to the fast rhythmic work, the rella, and build up to a big crescendo. And it would all be accompanied by a melodic player playing a repetitive melodic cycle called a nagma, round and round, that all the rhythm work would be pitched against. It's quite by contrast in South India, where you'll have someone sitting on the stage clapping the time cycle. Now, with these Kaidas, when they would first introduce them, one of the ways that they might begin to play this Kaida, for example, is that they would play at single speed, 1.5 times speed, and then double speed. So, for example, this is something we can look at later, but just to show you, this is how one might approach playing a Kaida traditionally. So we've got the tempo here. That's the double speed that we're aiming for. Da ti da ga na da te de ke te da ti da ga tu na ke na. But they would be playing up a speed from there. Dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna kena dati daga na da dati daga ina dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna kena dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna kena dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna kena dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna kena dati daga na da terikita dati daga tuna kena da. When they would get to this position, having gone through the single 1.5 times the speed, exactly as it is, but 1.5 times the speed, and then double, then they would move on to the variations at the double speed. So we're going to just look at a few simple variations that one might encounter during this type of Kaida. Normally, and we haven't really done this exactly in this way so far, normally the first variation that one would find would be called the DOHRA, which really involves repeating the first line 3 times and the second line once, and then the kali of the whole thing. So our first line was dati daga nada tedikete. So we'd have that 3 times, and the second line, dati daga tunakena, once. And it would be like this. Da ti da ga na da te re ke te da ti da ga na da te re ke te da ti da ga na da te re ke te da ti da ga tu na ke na ta ti ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te, ta, ti, ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te, ta, ti, ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te, ta, ti, ta, ka, di, na, ke, na. One of the very important things about this composition is the terekete needs to be really poke out and be very clear. The next thing they would do is repeat the second half of the first line 3 times instead of the whole of the first line. So da ti da ga na da terekete. Na da terekete is the second half. You'd have that 3 times. Da ti da ga na da terekete na da terekete na da terekete da ga na da terekete da ti da ga tuna kenna. And then the whole thing again as the kali, which remember will have no bass drum in the first half of that repeat. Da ti da ga na da terekete na da terekete na da terekete da ti da ga na da terekete da ti da ga tuna kena ta ti ta ka na ta terekete na ta terekete na ta terekete da ti da ga na ta terekete da ti da ga di na ge na. So you'll notice as well, when I'm doing the kali section of these compositions, I'm using na and ta for the same syllable. Na, ta, te, re, ke, te. And again, that's because it's derived context-wise from the first half. So in the first half, we have na, da. So the second half will be na, ta. So again, all these things become a lot clearer the more compositions and kaidas and different things that you start to learn on the instrument. So let's look at variation 3. The next thing commonly they would start to do is to put gaps into the composition. So for example, we'd have da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da. Da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, tuna, kena, ta, ti, ta, ka, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ta, ka, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, di, na, ge, na. Da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, da, ga, na, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, tuna, ke, na, ta, ti, ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te, ta, ta, ka, na, ta, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, na, da, te, re, ke, te, da, ti, da, ga, di, na, ge, na. Again, what would happen after this? There'd be numerous, rhythmic movements. You might get 7 plus 7 plus 2 and lots of different ways to begin developing the Kaida more. We're going to sort of fast track right to the end. What they would do again before you get to the very end and the concluding Chukradah or you know, final rhythmic T-high big composition 3 times, is they bring it back down quite, you know, into quite a simple level, just so it becomes settled before the conclusion. So we're just going to look at variation 4, and often when you get to these variations, it's the last part of the theme, the tunakena, that becomes more emphasized. So we have da ti da ga tuna kena, da ti da ga tuna kena, da ti da ga na da te re kete, da ti da ga tuna kena, ta ti ta ga tuna kena, ta ti ta ga tuna kena, da ti da ga na da te re kete, da ti da ga dina kena, da ti da ga tuna kena, da ti da ga tuna, da ti da ga na da te re kete, da ti da ga tuna ken, da ti da ga tuna kena, da ti da tuna kena, da ti da ga na da te re kete, da ti da ga dina kena da. Now this phrase, dati daga tunakena, is actually very common and is really useful in developing, you know, playing on the tabla. You hear it a lot, particularly in classical tabla players' hands. So we're going to move on to the final variation, which is again is another longer composition, another Chukradah, as we said from one of the previous lessons, a long composition repeated 3 times, calculated so as to end on the first beat. So basically this is devised of 3 groups of 7 plus a gap. Okay, so you've got 7, 7, 7, which is 21, plus a gap, 22. So if you repeat that 3 times, you have 66, okay? Minus the gap, which wouldn't repeat on the 3rd time, wouldn't be included on the 3rd time, because the last note would be the downbeat. So without the gap, you have 65. So the 65th note is the downbeat. So 7, 7, 7 gap, 7, 7, 7 gap, 7, 7, 7 with the number 7 of the 3rd group of 7 of the 9th group of 7 becoming the downbeat. Yes, lovely. So the phrase, the 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. So that repeats 3 times plus the gap. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Da ti da ga na da te re na da te re kete da. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Da ti da ga na da te re kete na da te re kete da. Again, all the syllables are clearly included in the things before. The notation is downloadable there, or is it there? Is it there? Anyway, somewhere on this page, the notation is downloadable. So, a little bit faster. With that last note being the downbeat and the continuation of playing time within the time cycle. So we're going to finish the whole look at this little mini series with a few obvious tips from with the drums. Obviously, keep them out of direct sunlight and away from heat. Keep the covers on them, and actually, what I tend to do is get stronger hard covers that I put over the top that you can tie on, or I tend to use Velcro. To secure the drums. I mean, I tend to keep hold of the covers actually, and this cover, tatty as it is from my first ever set of tablas, and I kept it ever since. Yeah, amazing. It's quite romantic, but there you go. Keep it away from water, substances that are going to damage the head. These are really fragile heads, and also if you sweat a lot when you play, have a towel or something, and try not to, because basically the spots will become damaged by any sort of water penetration. Now, don't use too much talcum powder either. As I said earlier, that tends to cake the drum and gets kind of stuck on there. I mean, you can. There's some talc on here that you can see. You can scrape it off. Sometimes what happens with the drums, even with new drums, when you buy them, is the black spot. If you can see, it's got lots of little islands in there. Sometimes they come loose and the drums start to buzz. There's not a whole lot you can do. If you can find that individual little spot that is buzzing, you might be able to put a tiny bit of super glue on it. Chances are you're not going to be able to do that without completely ruining the resonance of the drum. So it's proceed with caution on that. But chances are you probably need to get a new head or a new drum anyway. So you could get that replaced, in Southall, for example, at Jazz Musicals, which is a store that I'd recommend for looking at tablas. If you're in India, get them from Chukradah in Calcutta, because they're really great drums. Get a good strong case for them, nice and padded, and it's someone kicking them on the train or something like that. You don't want that. Don't hit them with sticks because the skins are too fragile. And similarly, don't bang on them really hard like you would bang on a conga, or not that anyone bangs on a conga. Of course, they stroke delicately the conga, luring the tones from the drum. But if you were to bang it, don't do it with the tablas, because it's going to damage them quite a bit. Try to keep them evenly tuned. I'm going to look at the tuning in a minute. One other note, just to mention, is that Indians will never touch the drums with their feet. So if you've got Indian friends, or you're performing in an Indian situation, you'd have to bear in mind that it's really, really bad news to touch the drums with your feet. So don't go there. So now we're going to look at the tuning of the drum. This is a very important implement in the whole fray. It's not a toffee hammer. So basically, this is your main tuning device. Now, first of all, I would add the extreme tuning is done with the pegs. So we're pretty low there. Now, so by hitting down, what I tend to do is hold the hammer kind of very close to the end here, not like you would be banging a nail in or something, because you're going to lose control and damage the drum. So I tend to hold it quite close to the top of the hammer in this way. Now, hitting downwards, normally tabla players would tune to the tin stroke, the stroke on the inner ring, or the na stroke. I prefer tuning to the na stroke, but you can hear as I hit down, you can hear the pitch change. Sometimes you're going to need to hit heavily with the pegs, as I did a little earlier, to get the tuning up. Sometimes you're going to need to maybe take it off. You can see that this is on 4 straps for most of the pegs. In fact, that's 3. So it might be too high here, and you might need to take off one of the straps. Now, this is tuned to D, this tabla. You'll hear with the pitch tuning that it's clearly tuned to D. Well, it might have gone out with the lights during the... A little bit flat because I've tuned it. You just go round, you're hitting and doing that. I would recommend this tuning thing, which is a Pitch Pro, actually. And that's a pretty good tuning reference for when you're tuning the drum. So then it's just fine-tuning during performance, and you're away to go. Good luck. Any questions, email me through my website, petelockett.com, or Facebook or Twitter or whatever sort of strange social networking site you find me on. So fantastic. Thank you for listening through to the lessons, and I hope you get on well with the tabla, and I'll see you soon.